Hey there friend, Hector here from StrongestHec.com with this week's Movement Monday for the week. Last week we talked about a movement recharge or a kettlebell recharge that I like to go through when coming out of a pretty intense 8 to 12 week training program, whether it's double kettlebells or even with the barbell deadlift. Today I'm going to be showing you another one of my favorite recharges. This is going to incorporate more body weight and kettlebell. So one of the things that can happen whenever you're going through a double kettlebell program or you're going through a barbell deadlift program, for instance, is you can, believe it or not, you can start to develop asymmetries, okay? Because your body is symmetrically loaded, whether it's with a barbell or with a pair of kettlebells or even a pair of dumbbells, is you can, believe it or not, create bad habits and compensations that can result in asymmetries. And asymmetries are probably one of the quickest ways to derail your training progress, because it can eventually lead to an injury, and that it may not be, you know, that training session or a week later or a year later, but chronically over time you continue to build enough asymmetries, you could basically be kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And an asymmetry can be anything from, you know, mobility, stability, strength, anything like that can be an asymmetry. You may be stronger on one side than the other because maybe you're getting some cheating going on from one side to the next. Maybe you're less unstable on one side. Maybe one glute's not firing and the other one is. A lot of different things that can happen over the course of a double kettlebell or even a barbell program. So I'm going to be showing you my approach after coming out of a pretty long training cycle, as I like to go into single kettlebell work and a lot of body weight mobility, basically just to kind of iron out any compensations that I may have developed over the course of that program. So for this first one, I'm going to be doing, it's going to be like half body weight and it's going to be half kettlebell work. And when I'm doing both body weight and kettlebell, I'm purposely looking for any compensations or anything that feels tight, or maybe I don't feel as strong on this side versus the other side. And I address that with body weight, and then we're also going to address it with the kettlebell. We're going to be knocking out some really light swings, one-arm swings, snatches, and military presses, and also be working in some single leg deadlifts at the end. So don't worry about everything I'm talking about right now. In the description, I'm going to put all of the details and how to follow through with the recharge from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to hop on the ground, and we're going to be starting off the practice with soft rolling. So soft rolling is a segmented roll, leading with my upper body and then leading eventually with my lower body. So I'll put all the details in the description below, and I'm basically just kind of going to go through this kind of quick just for time constraints. Okay, so I'm going to start on my back, and I'm going to start with, so my hands will be overhead, and I'm going to roll, okay? Imagine that you're paralyzed from the waist down, and I can only use my arms and my head. So this is going to be my axis. My arms out of the way. Then I'm going to reach across and pick up my head for something over here to this side. My body will roll over. Okay, from there I'm going to use the same hand, and I'm going to reach, I'm going to lift my head, I'm going to look back behind me, and I'm going to reach back this way and roll right back to my back. I'm going to repeat for the other side, okay, and just make any note of any asymmetries that you may have when rolling from left to right. Okay, you may notice that maybe thoracically you feel a little stiffer when you reach and rotate from the thoracic down. You may notice some tightness. So just make any mental notes if you do notice something. Okay, so I just knocked out a few of them. Body. So now I'm going to imagine from the waist, kick across, roll, use the same leg to bring me back, and I'm just going to knock out a few repetitions from my left to my back, okay? So, once I'm done rolling left and right, I'm gonna end on my belly, okay? I just finished rolling over with my legs. I'm gonna end here. Now I'll go into a Cobra, hands by my chest, pinch my glutes, leave my hips on the floor, and I'm gonna come up here. And I'm looking for several different things. Do I feel any tightness in my lower back? If I feel tightness in my lower back, that could be a sign of low back impingement, maybe from deadlifting or swinging or something like that. So just make any note of that. Is there anything, do the shoulders hurt? Do the wrists hurt? And just make little notes. And I'll go through about 3 of these for right now. Okay? I'm pinching my glutes and I'm pointing my toes. From here, I'm going to go to my hands and my knees. And now I'm going to work on my hip mobility here, opening up my hips. Okay? And we do a little exercise called thread the needle. Okay? From here, I'm going to inhale. I'm going to open up through my chest and look at my palm. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to reach through my arm, through this little gap between my arm and my leg. I'm going to reach through, look in that direction, and really reach. So now I'm going into some rotation and spinal flexion at the same time. Breathe, and I'll knock out about maybe 5 of these. Okay, once I'm done with my 5, I'm basically just going to switch sides. Okay, half kneeling and windmill here. Inhale, look up. Okay, so I'll go through that little half kneeling windmill and I'll thread the needle on both left and right sides. So I'm kind of assessing thoracic rotation and some slight extension on both sides. Next, I want to check for any rotary torque. I want to be able to make sure that I can still resist rotary torque. So whenever you're doing double swings or two-handed swings, you can't see, you can't tell if the body's trying to torque left or right side. So you should be able to reflexively resist that rotary torque. So next, what I like to do is I like to do a simple one-arm, a crawl out to a one-arm plank pretty much. And from that one-arm plank, my body will try to go into some kind of rotary torque. Another thing you can do is you can do what's called an X lift. And that's simply by bringing opposite arm and leg up like this. If you begin to move like this, you're missing some reflexive core stability there. So that's one option. I like to do the crawl out to the one-arm plank because now I can assess some strength and I can assess, obviously, that rotary torque component. So I basically start like in a squat position. I crawl myself out. Okay, I put my hands together as if I'm going to do a diamond push-up. My feet are wider than my hips. Okay, contract my glutes a little bit, and then I bring one hand up, and I'll hold this for maybe like a 3 count. Come down, other side, and I'm kind of looking for this like rotary torque. I'm looking to see, can I maintain, keep my shoulders squared? Can I keep my hips squared? Or as soon as I go into this one arm, are my hips kind of turning this way? Or can I maintain my hips squared? Okay, so that's another thing that I'm assessing here. So if the hips turn, glutes aren't firing at the same time, right? If I get here to this point and I'm in this position and I turn here like this glute here on my left isn't firing because it should be able to squeeze and keep my glutes in one plane. Now they've changed into a transverse plane, and I don't want to be there. So that's kind of what I'm assessing as I'm going through this crawl out to one arm plank. And so once I do both left and right sides, I'll come back up to this squat, shake my arms out, and I'll do that again like 3 times. So I'll crawl back out, feet are wider than my hips, diamond push-up position, okay, get my shoulder in, get my lat in, contract my glutes, bring one hand up. You'll get little shakes, perfectly fine. Test the other side, down, and crawl yourself back out into the squat. And then I'll stand up and I'll start to shake my arms and legs out, okay? That pretty much covers it for the body weight piece. So now I've assessed some upper body rolling, okay, some core stability from a very low foundation. Then from there I went into some extension, right? Went into some Cobra, looking for a thoracic extension, get my shoulders depressed back. Is there any pain in my wrists? So there's a lot of different things that are going on. From there I also check T-spine rotation. I go into a half kneeling position, and now I'm looking for rotation left and right. And then lastly, I go through crawl out to the plank. So as I'm crawling out to the plank, right, those little steps, I'm fighting rotary torque as I'm crawling out. Then I come into this diamond push-up position, and I'll hold this one-arm push-up pattern. And I'm looking for, can I maintain this position here? You know, am I strong enough here? Are my glutes firing equally on both sides? So I'm kind of testing a lot of those things. Now I'm going to go into the kettlebell piece. The kettlebell piece, I'm just going to knock out a few swings, a few snatches, and a few presses. Switch sides, and then rest. So I'm going to knock out probably about, I don't know, 5 swings. 5 snatches. And I'm taking my time. I'm not trying to go really fast. Here's 4. There's 5. Bring it into the rack. And now I've got 5 presses. I'm going to rest briefly so I can tell you what I'm looking for there. So, while practicing this, I would actually swing, switch, and continue. But I'm going to talk really briefly here. With the one-arm swing, just like that one-arm plank, I'm looking for, am I able to maintain a squared position? Or am I losing my shoulder? Are my hips rotating? Maybe because my glutes aren't firing. I'm looking for all those little things, okay? With the press, this is a pretty light bell for me. And you want to use a light bell. You're not trying to, you just came out of an intense training cycle, so you're not trying to, for guys, you're not trying to use the 40 kilo or anything like that. You're at like 16 to 24 is ideal. All you're looking for is compensations. But at the same time, you're going to get a great workout in, okay? A good restorative workout. So, can I maintain my glutes? Can I maintain my abs connected? Am I leaning? Do I have to do this little compensation? Am I leaning this way? Or am I leaning back? So those are all little things that you're looking for. You should be able to maintain all that integrity with the relatively light bell. Like gentlemen, 16 to 24. Ladies, 8 kilo up to 12 kilo, maybe even 16 kilo. You should be able to maintain all that postural control as you're going through this. I'm going to hit the other side really quick, and then we'll finish up with the last exercise. So I've got 5 swings. Snatches. Remember, I'm taking my time. This is a great time to work your technique. Bring it in, and I've got 5 presses. And that would be one round. So going through all the body weight postures, then going through the 5 swings, 5 snatches, and 5 presses, I'm getting the strength and some conditioning while I'm able to still work on my technique, and that would be one round. From there, you would go on to repeat about, depending on how you feel, you would go on to repeat anywhere from like 3 to 6 rounds. And that in itself, you'll hit every movement pattern. You're working both body weight and kettlebell, but the most important thing here is we're working one side at a time. So we're looking for any asymmetries that may pop up, okay? So to close out, we're gonna hit a few single leg deadlifts per side. And I'm gonna warn you, this is my weakest exercise. So if I look goofy, it just means I need to do more of these, right? I'm actually in the middle of a barbell cycle right now, so hopefully it's not too bad and I'm not going to embarrass myself here on video. So, single leg deadlift. Not trying to kill yourself, you're looking for asymmetries. Again, in this pattern, I'm looking for my shoulder caving, I'm looking for this rotary torque, I'm looking for those things, okay? So, I'm going to knock out 5. Lost my balance. Woo, I feel that in the lat, feel that in this glute. Feel that in this back glute. Not much of a technique video today, but when I'm sitting back, this leg, I want this leg stiff, like I'm standing on a wall behind me. This leg isn't relaxed. Stiff, that way I keep my glutes equally fired. My hips are squared to the floor, okay? And I'm hitting those deadlifts, 5 on each side. Okay, again, you want to use a light bell. You're looking mostly for asymmetries. You're not looking to pick a bell that you'll be nearly maxing with, okay? I got one more. There's the whole recharge. I'm sweating like crazy. And that's just one round. You'll go on to repeat this. When you feel refreshed, when you feel like you've had enough, stop. This is mostly a restorative recharge that you can do every day if you like. But really do this after coming out of a pretty intense training cycle, especially with this double kettlebell, barbell, etc. So that's this week's Movement Monday for the week. I'm going to put all of the details of the recharge in the description below. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Hector at StrongestHec.com, and if you're enjoying these videos, Movement Monday, Technique of the Week, and our Workout of the Week, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I'll see you guys next week. Again, I'm Hector with StrongestHec.com's this week's Movement Monday of the Week.